Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 99, Casual Conversations 36. Same thing as always for these lectures, or discussions, or whatevers, but talking points, current events, podcasts, probably some stories. I don't really have that many talking points today, but again, responding to some podcasts, respond to some Ben Shapiro, obviously. Some Jason Miller on Patrick Bet David, number 126, who was the founder, or not, maybe not founder, but an owner of Getter, which is like a social media, free speech social media thing. So we'll be talking about the zoo. First thing, went to the zoo today. I like to go to the zoo like once a year. It's about a once a year activity for me. Again, it's just me. When people watch these in a long years from now, I legitimately have no rights. So I legitimately have no friends, and I've been kicked out of every social group I've ever had. So I'm just literally just sitting here waiting to see if I'm literally alive to see the day that I get human rights. while responding and doing a legal lecture, part 99. But I went to the zoo. I like seeing all the animals. I like all the fucking animals. But my favorite animals, at least the most active ones, I really do like meerkats. Like the little meerkat rodent guys. They weren't out and about today. It must have been pretty cold this morning. So I like I forget some sort of ape, not ape, but monkey. They're not monkeys, but I can't remember the name. There was like two yellow ones and two black ones, and they're all playing like tag and wrestling around and roughhousing a little bit. So those are my favorite animals that I saw today. I also like the stingray. This is the Columbus Zoo in Ohio. I also like the stingray where you get to touch the stingrays, but the line is very long. So figured it was a great day for it. They had free admissions today, and it was like 30 degrees yesterday and like 60 degrees today. So it was a great time at the zoo. So that's really all I have to say about the zoo, but I was pretty excited. That's what I did today. We'll talk about imposter syndrome, Stockholm syndrome, and reverse Stockholm syndrome, which I don't have. But we'll talk about all those things. So the first thing that I found interesting from Mr. Shapiro's wonderful fraudcast is free speech. He says you do not have free speech in schools, which is kind of true. So I looked that up. In 1969, the Supreme Court ruled students do not shed their constitutional rights of freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gates, but there are some limitations. And basically, you can't. And I'm reading from ACLU.org. You have the right to speak out, hand out flyers and petitions, and wear expressive clothing in school, as long as you don't disrupt the functioning of the school or violate school policies that don't hinge on the message expressed. What counts as disruptive will vary by context, but a school disagreeing with your position or thinking your speech is controversial or in bad taste is not enough to qualify. Courts have upheld students' rights to wear things like an anti-war armband, an armband opposing the right to get an abortion, and a shirt supporting the LGBT community. And it goes on and on. So basically, you still have the right of free speech in public schools as long as it's not disruptive to or against the school policies. So that's not exactly true from Mr. Ben Shapiro. You still have freedom of speech. It's just, again, more limited in the sense of what you're disrupting or what you're expressing if it messes up the functioning of school. But remember, he said, I think he's talking about critical race theory on that. But what about theft? No, he's talking about the don't say fag bill. Again, it's don't say gay, it's don't say fag. So that's changed by me, Judge Plumplug. But what about theft? Right, you don't have the right to disrupt school. School is education. We won't respect Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7, or the Fifth Amendment, which is fucking up and disrupting literally all school. Like literally all education for this entire species. So remember, if you're doing illegal things, just make sure it's at the highest level that absolutely no one cares. Like it's completely legal, it's completely encouraged. Steal from Brad outside, steal from Brad on the internet, steal from Brad in person, pay him nothing. And then, again, when you're in your little bounded little circle of privileged beta people, then you start talking about what's free speech and what's allowed. Again, every school on this planet are thieves. They're stealing from me. For real, legitimately, defrauding me out of everything I've ever fucking earned. So You do have freedom of speech in school. It's a little more limited, but you have unlimited capacity to steal. So, and then Ben says, in extreme cases, teachers can lose their jobs. Again, I think talking about critical race theory or the Don't Say Fag bill. But I just have indoctrination versus selfishness. Why do teachers want to talk about their personal lives in general? It's because of selfishness, not indoctrination. They're not sitting there saying, you need to think like this. They're just, in a weird, perverse, underdeveloped way, they're happy to be themselves for the first time. Now they want to spread the good word, and then they're going to go, again, stagnate, and then teach kids that body language. So, again, hilarious. Hearing in extreme cases, teachers can lose their jobs. I had to sell drugs for 5 continuous years, and my life has been endangered because I don't have constitutional rights my entire life. But in extreme cases, a teacher can lose their job for not doing their job. Again, what a weird, privileged world this is. But it's really selfishness. It's underdevelopment, because you can't really indoctrinate people. I hate when people say that. All you can do is limit their information and limit their growth. We all experience the same things. We all ask the same questions. As long as we don't stagnate, this whole species is stagnated. So that's what is going on. It's still going on. It can't stop happening. People cannot behave. They can't grow up. They can't treat people with kindness, respect, and love or decency. They just can't. They think they do, but they don't. Ben Shapiro says the governments are now debanking people. You don't lose banking ability because someone disagrees. And again, talking about the illiterate truckers who, again, they're committing crimes. It's not disagreement, it's illegal. It's still illegal. It's literally illegal. And you have the Weinsteins, you have Shapiro, again, just literally tagging on to the ideologies they think they have, which they have nothing, pump in their personal insecurities, and kill people. That is what these fucking trashy fucking people do. But Ben, the governments are now debanking people. Have you ever tried to start a cannabis business, my guy? We're already debanked, bro. Like, it's no end in sight. Not on the menu, not on the agenda. But Ben, you and Eric Weinstein were so certain that cannabis was bad. Again, I keep using that example because, one, it's still illegal and it's still the most prominent health prerogative to do today, right now. We just don't do anything because Schumer's too busy fucking sucking dick or some faggot-ass shit. Can't do his fucking job. Our senators can't do their jobs. Our politicians can't do their jobs. Our private business owners can't do their fucking jobs. And no one cares. But again, if you want to be debanked, come try to start a cannabis business, Ben. It's absolutely fucking hell for no fucking reason. So it's not when you don't lose banking when people disagree. You lose banking when people violate common law with statute in complete violation of biological law, and everyone's too fucking stupid to change. That's when you get debanked. They talk about the Black Lives Matter supporter shooting a senator. I think it's at a senator or somebody at a mosque or something. He compares that to the truckers. Again, violent criminals should not be let out on bond, not that quick. But comparing shooting to, again, I don't even know what the comparison to truckers was. But again, Ben's basically saying, this level of crime is acceptable as long as the right, Ben, you always say, as long as the left can make it perverse or something. Well, as long as you can make another shitty video for your worthless fucking kids with take your fucking yarmulke off, man. You're not religious, you don't have conservative values, you are a fucking idiot. You're the product of a stagnated society, and you're proud of it, you worthless fucking kike. And so, again, it's not, get out of the black and white and get into the gray area, like literally the in-between stuff. Shooting is illegal and bad, should not be let out on bail. Truckers holding up the fucking streets is bad and illegal, should not be acceptable. And this is not a correct dichotomy. Good try, Ben. So next, we have Patrick Bet-David, number 126 with Jason Miller, the owner of Getter, one of the principals, one of the owners, and he was a senior Trump advisor. I guess he's, again, watched the whole thing, didn't really get much, only had really one thing. But again, it's all about free speech. Again, trying to break that down, freedom. Nothing is touching, everything is connected. So physically, you don't really have freedom, right? If I don't have enough mass to cause a force to accelerate, I don't have the freedom to go to a different star or reach escape velocity. So, degrees of freedom, which way you can move. Again, there's only 2 or 3 degrees of freedom. It's like directions. But again, stability of 2. There's an object. There's 2 iterations of the shadow, 2 generations of the shadow. So again, into physics, what does freedom, degrees of freedom mean? It's really more directionality. But freedom of speech, again, speech requires thought requires intention. speaking is different than talking. But I just have comparative, whatever that word means in the general. Again, nobody else can opine on that or rule legally on that whatsoever. And maturity. We all say the same thing once we experience them. Speeding up education removes any need for censorship, with an S. But meaning, again, like, right, people want the freedom of speech to go say directly wrong things. And it's like, that conversation literally dissolves and goes away if people stop wanting to say wrong things. People stop wanting to say wrong things if they don't stagnate their educational process. Heather Hay, go read a fucking book in a different subject. Go, I want to see you guys exercise. Like, I actually want to go see you guys try to do a full length squat. And you might be saying, what does that have to do with anything? It's your body. If you haven't learned how to move and you're fucking 50, again, I can't, and people say you're an athlete or you're this or that. No, it's just like learning about yourselves. And so, right, know thyself, but like actually, maximize the dexterity in your hands. That's all I focus on the guitar or the piano. And so I actually want to see you guys exercise before you open your mouths again, because I guarantee you look like absolute fucking weirdos. And so, you can say that's mean or irrelevant, but it isn't. If you haven't mastered your body, speciality is going to produce insecurity, and that is what's going to come out of your flappy mouth, as proven by, again, 7.8 billion people, minus Brad. So, again, really, what people want to say will completely consolidate in line with the values of the sentiment of the species, and the sentiment of the species is 7% mature. It's the same problem in everything I've ever said. But I said animals squealing versus humans squealing with words. It's not any different. You offend an animal or you intimidate an animal where it feels threatened, it's going to start squealing or growling or barking. Humans do the same thing, and when they structure those syllables, they call them words. It's not any different. Not even like a little bit different. So, and then I just have free speech versus the incitation of violence. Again, you can't cause, your freedom of speech cannot infringe upon somebody else's freedoms. But what qualifies violence? What is violence? What is violent? Violent, virulent, I'm not confident on the pronunciation. Virulent or virulent. Just that word strikes me as just strange. So I feel like that word's going to be going by the wayside soon, or refreshing its definition. But what is violence? An act of physical harm. I would say violence is physical harm. Bullying, intimidation, cyberbullying, that's more of intimidation. So I think violence is specific to physical harm. Now responding to some more biological topics from Modern Wisdom, number 436 with Jordan Peterson. So again, Jordan starts off the conversation talking, he literally says something about an alien, says probably reptilian. Life comes at you fast, and you're still committing intellectual property theft. All of the feds saying that you're not going to go to jail are going to go into a box, and all of the academics and professionals are going to go to fucking prison. Absolutely non-negotiable at this point. But he says, again, after we initiate the conversation with stolen theft property from Brad, he says, late-stage female predators do not exist. Again, biological evidence of what I just said about speeding up education, do not stagnate. Any child predator is genuinely a child at heart and just does not care about the rights and dignity of another person. But late-stage female predators do not exist, meaning, again, women after the age of 30 or 40 or whatever, or like becoming a sexual predator. It doesn't exist after they've gone through puberty or again just later on in life. Exactly what I'm saying about consolidating sentiment and values. But what are the biological motivations for men and women? 40% to 60%, again, from all reproducing species to me, I mean, dominance. Why do I think women are more likely to be at a stabilized population rate, more valuable or more populous? I think it's because their reproduction is more timed. I can go have another wonderful date with Miss Jennifer Lopez in my brain. But women are pretty much born with the amount of eggs they're going to have in their lifetime. So I really think the population would skew to dominantly female because of the valuability, or because timing is everything. Timing is limited for female reproduction. So that's why, again, I'm still not even convinced on my own argument there, but my intuition definitely says females are more populous. And again, getting to the large-scale lineages It's data. It's not data dependent. I'm not convinced by my own argument there either. But it's still my conjecture. Most species will skew to being dominantly female. Again, 40 to 60%, not substantially. But women are more valuable because of supply and demand, limited eggs. Again, Jordan Peterson said probably reptilian. And he says 50% of women are childless by 30, or at 30 or later. Again, our species is completely stagnated as a 28-year-old and a half-year-old man. Yeah, again, I said this when I was a 13-year-old, 15-year-old, all the way up to today, right now. Again, people have to grow up, they can't make money, they stagnate, and they truly are like, oh, I'll just wish my life away until I'm dead, and then no, they actually do that and no one cares. Does gender affect speciality? Speciality, natural tendency to differentiate for sexual antagonism. Just mainly sexual antagonism, differentiation, right? I want to be a princess, I want to be a firefighter, I see this gender role, I want to be a housewife, I want to be a career-driven woman, I want to be a home husband, a house husband. You know, where do those values come from? Is it gender dependent? Really, no. I mean, slightly, like males and females slightly changing their behavior. Again, we've used the examples of being a hunter. They're the alpha. Again, for the millionth time, I don't consider myself an alpha. I'm the guy that just said, oh, we should probably not do dumb shit. And everyone's like, oh, fuck this guy, throw him to the wolves. Didn't die. And now everyone's like, oh. And it's just like, fuck everybody. But it's really more of the role as opposed to the gender, right? The provider, the director, the instructor, the teacher. See, those words aren't gendered. And so the speciality, the antagonism, the value system of a given species is going to affect behavior substantially more than gender. Will the population collapse, grow or shrink, and why? Again, they're talking, again, our population should grow a little bit. Very confident on that. But people would really, at a mature level, they would really just have children they know they can raise. And I would say there would be more, I think it will grow because, again, after you get out of the selfish stage, faster, more people will have children, and they'll be better raised. Which is obviously, if I could say one thing about the DeSales, St. Paul, Central Ohio families, not a single one of these people have ever been taught any values. They know how to play games, and they know how to post shitty things on LinkedIn trying to make more money, and they still can't even do those things properly. So, will the population collapse? No, I think it will grow. I think it will grow less quickly than it should. And again, it goes a lot of different ways. I mean, the population growth to the 10 billion-ish, I mean, there's no real timeline on that. So, collapse, no. Grow and how fast, I don't know. Who should and shouldn't have children? Mature people should have children. Well, I don't even say should, can have children. Immature people should not have children. And again, we're right back to the same problem. Most people just have kids because their friends are doing it, because they think it's their role in society now, and they're not ready or not mature enough. They haven't grown up. And so, immature people should not have children, and mature people can have children if they so choose. Those are my thoughts there. Those are really the only talking points. I want to talk about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is when you're at a place that you don't feel adequate for. And I've never even kind of had imposter syndrome. I've never been allowed to go to a function. Like you have to be invited to a conference or something to have imposter syndrome. So I got scapegoated way before that was even on the table. But I don't think if you're qualified, like what self-doubt, is that good or healthy? I don't doubt myself. So again, I just don't know what level of dumb fuck you guys are. Stockholm syndrome is when you get people getting abused or oppressed form appreciative or respectful relationships with the people abusing them. And I wanted to introduce a concept, reverse Stockholm syndrome, for my old neighbors at Grafton Park and here at HQ Flats and everywhere and anywhere I go. I don't have reverse Stockholm syndrome. I don't have affection for the people torturing me and people abusing me. I can't threaten the federal fucking government. Right? This isn't a gangbanger. This isn't the fucking mafia. This is world governance. There's nothing I can do. Can't control any of that. Like, nothing. And so I have no affection for anyone abusing me, anyone stealing from me. I have to respond to your shitty fucking podcast because there's nothing else for me to do. The legacy of the human species is you guys fucking tortured the guy that could fucking do science because you were first and foremost so stupid. You didn't understand what scientific proofing was from my 4-person family to an accredited university at Michigan State University and Ohio State University. And so the first thing we did was being so incompetent we couldn't even identify scientific proof. The second thing we did is scapegoat that person, because as long as we push them out of the group, we don't have to respond. Like my old friend Brennan said, if it's just going to be a bunch of fuck yous, then I don't think it's a good thing for us. Again, as these people have just fucking trampled over my life, piss shit everywhere like a public restroom, walk the fuck out, it's not their responsibility anymore. So be so literate that you deny science, then torture somebody, and then mature when you're like 30 to 35 when you're ready to have kids, have a kid, and then try to teach them the values you still do not have because the species still has not changed. But again, I do not have reverse Stockholm syndrome. I do not feel every single person that I said I'm going to sue. It's going to be a glorious day if I'm alive to see that come around. First, I have access to court. Within 12 hours, I'm suing everybody that I said I would. And again, if you've committed criminal charges, you're going to prison. The federal governments cannot pay me. If you have, wow, Mark Cuban, $4 billion, fucking sweet, bro. Go to fucking prison. So, yeah, and I don't expect to. Like, I don't expect to ever have human rights. I don't expect to ever fit into the human species strictly because no one has any fucking values. No one can fucking behave. No one can raise their children. I will be harassed at least once every 2 months until the fucking day that I get paid or the day that I die. And nothing is going to change. So I don't know how long this one is going. I'll see, and then maybe a story. So I figured to give you a kind of a relevant story. But again, it's been well over a year since SEMA threw the snowball at my back. Again, I knew you guys were watching me in Philadelphia. So I'll give you a quick story about some more worthless federal agents or federal assets or something. But I'm going on again. I live right on the border of Central or Westerville and New Albany in Central Ohio, if you know the area at all. There's not a lot of great walking paths around where I'm at, particularly here now. But one day I'm out on my walk. I have to cut through, like I said, I have to cut through a little neighborhood or like a condo assortment thing to get to like a residential neighborhood to go on a walk. And so one day I'm walking, and there's this not older lady, but I don't know, 50, and you know, I'm just, one of these days I'm just fucking livid. Literally just walking around saying, show me who the fuck is threatening my life and let's get this shit fucking popping. Because again, I have a right to defend my life and my property. Which even, I don't know if in Ohio if you actually have the right to defend your property with lethal force. But if it's violated substantial enough, you should. A property is an extension of a person. So again, I don't exactly know the law there. But again, I'm just fucking fuming. Because again, my life is nothing. There was no way to recreate for another person what I've been going through my entire life. And it's literally, there's a world out there. It's all right there, right? Everyone has those moments when they know their life's never going to be the same. A gold Olympian, medal Olympian gets on a daytime talk show and everyone's respectful. They know their life's never going to be the same again. My life can't start. I've not had that moment for basic safety, food, income, for real. And so again, I'm just being tortured by people who are incapable of moral behavior and they have nothing they can fucking do. And so I'm not mumbling to myself again, I'm assuming some of these people out there are fucking feds watching me, and I just go, yeah, not like to the other person, not like so they can audibly hear me, I talk to myself, but I have my headphones on, it's a microphone, and so, and again, I've consented to people watching me the whole time because I do so much fucking science, but I won't pay. Watching me bothers me zero, paying me bothers me always, not paying me bothers me always, and so I'm just fuming, and I'm just looking directly at this chick, not raising my voice, not talking to her directly. And I'm just I say to myself, they've taken food off my plate for 10 years, and this bimbo-ass worthless fat goes, oh no. Again, people learn from me, and they learn so profoundly from me, they can't actually take criticism from me, which is the weirdest facet of being a scapegoat, or being an intellectual scapegoat. But oh no. And again, I actually have not had a natural appetite in 10 years. I guarantee this worthless whore of a bitch has done nothing in her life besides lay on her back, twerk her pussy, and fuck, come, and make some money. And she's going to say, oh no to me, as I'm literally ready to say, who the fuck is threatening my life and property now? Let's motherfucking go. But again, gotta know your place. I'm supposed to suffer and die for the sins of the group. Another time, again, it was either on my porch and someone walking underneath me, or this might have even been at Grafton. I don't think this was at Grafton. Again, it was at Grafton Park. Again, the fucking federal agents were coming up to me and talking to me on my porch. Like, Prashant, come back and visit, bro. I do not have reverse Stockholm syndrome. I don't even know if, I don't think Prashant was necessarily fed, just because he came up to me and said, I wish I would have known. And so if he didn't know till later on, since Philadelphia, and again, since I sent I put a message on people's desks and they still haven't acknowledged it publicly. But another time, again, talking to myself, not talking to anyone directly, clearly people are listening, which again, I've consented to that part, but I need my fucking money. And this another worthless fucking fed, this was a dude, he goes, we've heard everything. Again, you've heard terrorists say they're going to rape people until they bleed to death. You've heard terrorists say they're going to blow up children and slaughter children. You've heard terrorists say those things. You've not heard a fucking person be tortured their whole life that is more moral than you, that's more mature than you, that is in the legal right, that is helping the entire species say, fuck you, go to fucking prison. I can assure you have not heard that yet, buddy. And then again, if Americans could ever, if American law enforcement can ever spend 5 minutes not assassinating their own kids, like on 9/11, murdering their own fucking citizens on 9/11, you will enforce the law. I have no expectation to even live to see that day happen. Not because I'm in bad health or have any bad behaviors, it's just the world can't change. And I've experienced it for 30 fucking years, 20 years. 28, but again, 28 conscious years of when do people change? Can't. 28 and a half? Can't. Cannot change at all. So the federal agents, I can assure you, you've not heard someone say in the right, you people have tortured me, you have endangered my life, you have destroyed every relationship that I've literally ever had, and I can't start businesses, I can't collect my property, I can't feel basic human dignity. Got some good word on our, and so that's really the last story for today, and that was just on here, nothing else really super relevant to anything. But I was gonna say, we did get some good news on the bar. So we actually got the liquor license like a month ago, like issued or like approved, and then we actually like got the physical license where we could serve alcohol. So my bar partner said our sales have about doubled. So hopefully, for the first time in again a legitimate decade of working every single day at the highest intellectual capacity you could do, I might actually start making some money. Maybe. I'm gonna buy another business. I'm not gonna buy a fucking house. Again, every house I've put on my Zillow has gone for asking price. Every single one, if not a little higher. Maybe have seen one house go for $5,000 less. So a dollar invested is a dollar of cash flow. Put in $200,000, $300,000 on a cash flow business, buy at a cash flow of 200, 300K. I can't sit here and just have because again, it slows down my education. Like all of these other things I'm talking about on my YouTube channel, I just don't do because I have no, I'm on break even on my budget, and I might need to buy a different type of camera or type of this, and I do have the cash to do that, but I need a time frame of when I'm going to make more money. So, again, I would pay every penny that I had to go give a lecture right now and put a 10x on it, a 1000x on it tomorrow. And I love watching Jordan Peterson talk to Sam Harris, and Sam Harris was like, the first time I heard about Jordan Peterson, I didn't really know who it was, and like 2 days later, like everyone knew who he was. So, we've heard everything. You guys have taken away my dignity in a way that nobody else has literally ever experienced. You have to be the best at something, non-negotiable on someone's desk. I've done that with multiple things and I can't do anything. So additionally, I'm suing Simon Cowell, again, anyone associated with American Idol, anyone associated with any of these, The Voice, American Idol, America's Got Talent, because again, you cowards, I'm more talented than anyone on your fucking show. You can keep your whopping $1 million. But I don't get any part of my life. So, I went to the zoo today. It's pretty fun. Thank you for watching Language Litigation Integration Part 99, Casual Conversations 36. See you tomorrow.